So, I don't think anyone's watched it, but I ended my reading, the second part of The Boxman yesterday with white walls and tissue boxes. I kind of like that. And today I was writing to someone and I said, what did I say? Music is my air and water, but it's not, or it's never been my bread and butter. I think that's a pretty clear statement, isn't it? So, white walls, tissue boxes, air and water. What else do we have to talk about? Yeah, so I spent a good part of yesterday reading from the Boxman and talking about Abe Kobo Abe. In the reading series, I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things I want to read. So I just thought to give a kind of preview of some of the things. I'm going to do Brian Evanson. I've interviewed him on the page. I'm going to read some of his fiction that I like and that I want to share, including something new. I'm going to do, I use the English ordering, Ryunosuke Akutagawa, or Akutagawa Ryunosuke in Japanese. The film Rashomon is very famous, and it's actually based on a short story of his called Yabu no Naka, or In a Grove. So I might read that. Maybe I'll read Rashomon the story too. Most people haven't read that. Even if they've seen the film, they might not know the story of Rashomon itself. I probably will do, I don't know, I'm trying to decide whether to do authors like Paul Auster, New York Trilogy I teach. I'm teaching this next semester, and I taught Stephen Millhauser. I could do them, but I don't kind of want to do stuff that overlaps with the classes I teach right now, because then my students could just come to YouTube and watch it and say, oh, I watched the video, right? It's okay, I can do it. It's not official or unofficially this or that, but I might do one or the other, or maybe I'll read stories or excerpts of things that I don't cover in class or something. And I have actually another story to tell, which isn't about my reading series, but it kind of ties in. I mentioned in the first part of the Kobo Abe, World of Kobo Abe, or Abe Kobo section, that I wrote a novel in 2004 or 5. I think I started in 2004 and finished it, actually. I think all the revisions in 2005, basically. That was, influenced by Abe Kobo. I'll use the Japanese way because I like to say it that way. It just sounds natural to me. Abe Kobo's Boxman, but also other work of his, and also Alain Robbe-Grillet, who I was reading at the time in translation from the French, and other things, Borges and stuff, and Kafka, of course. And I mentioned that, and so maybe I'll read a segment of that. But what I wanted to talk about that doesn't really relate directly, not only this, but other things, my Brown thesis, which, includes the novelette Girl with Smear, which I did a reading of on the reading series, and other things. Everything disappeared from not from my hard drive, but from my iCloud, the Apple iCloud, which I've been paying for 2 terabytes. It's not cheap, and I thought I needed it because it was full, and it's been saving all this stuff, but it's been full again, and I can't do anything, or I couldn't do anything. So I've been kind of like deleting certain things, but it's hard to control, or I wasn't good at sort of, figuring what's what, and I kind of got fed up, and I just sort of tried to delete stuff, and it didn't work, and so I tried again, it didn't work, and then I gave up on it, and I went to sleep at like 1:32 in the morning or something, whatever it was. And today when I opened my computer, like all these files that I had in my computer and folders, because I organized things into folders, I've got all this stuff, media, and it's all gone. The folders are there and they're all empty. And I looked at my iPhone, and the cloud storage, which was maxed out at 2 terabytes, is empty, almost empty. It's like down to 17 gigabytes or something. So But I think the writing, including that novella or novel, and other things, they're stored externally, and that's actually, I think what I had done was actually I found them on the external drive, and I put them on the computer to back them up, actually, the reverse way. So I haven't looked for them yet, but I'm very calm actually about it. It's like I've become such a Buddhist and a Stoic, it's like impermanence, man. It's like, if the missile goes off tomorrow, what are you going to do with, the files you can't find on your desktop kind of thing? So I'll find them. I'm almost positive I have them. If I don't have them there, they're somewhere else. So it's not like they haven't been annihilated from the face of the earth. They exist in some form, either on my hard drive likely, or external drive. But if I needed to get it somewhere else, I could probably find it. Well, it's unpublished. The Brown thesis I could get from Brown if I needed to, at least in paper form. But anyway, so I might do a reading of some of that stuff, that's never been published and never been shared in any form, other than like when I was on Zoe Trope, which is this, writers, online writers, workshopping venue, or Fictionaut. I may have published parts of it or something. I published a bunch of short stories that are actually still there. The story behind Fictionaut is a very nice guy who's involved to some extent with the site contacted me and said, do you have any new material to contribute? And I said, well, this is before I wrote that recent story that I put on the page. But I said, I've been writing much. I've been focused on music and on video and so on. And I haven't written any new stories. And he's like, well, if you have something, it'd be cool if you could post. I was like, okay, cool. So I tried to log in after like several years and I couldn't get in. And it seems that an old email was stored there. And so I couldn't even reset the password. And I asked him if there was a way to do it. And it just wasn't possible or something. So he was really nice to me, but it was like I couldn't get in. And I can't get in. So there's still, my stuff is still published on the site. I could share the site. And I could go to the site and I could actually read some of the stuff that's published there from the past. But I couldn't update it with new stuff. Anyway, so there was Zoe Trope and there was Fictionaut, and there's some of the online published things that most of them are gone because a lot of those journals just went belly up over the years and they're not on the server anymore, or at least not publicly. So we'll see. I enjoy doing readings, and not only my own stuff, and I can give background on it, but on, other authors living and or not living, like Abe Kobo, or like living like Brian Evanson, or like Stephen Milhauser, or like others that I could do and will do maybe. Alain Robbe-Grillet, I'd like to do maybe do one on him and on Borges, and maybe do the kind of detective fiction thing, postmodern / metaphysical detective, novel or story. I could do a series on this. I did one outside, which is kind of like that, Bowie's version. So all these kind of things. And I'm opening with this weird thing about tissues and white walls, right? I was in another non sequitur, or a seg. I was in kind of mall, you could call it, I guess, and I went to GU, which is like a kind of like a very reasonable, not expensive clothing store, like a kind of everyday clothing wear store. And I just walked in to see, I was going to buy just a white shirt, maybe. I was looking at white shirts, if they're not too expensive. And they had not too expensive, but they didn't have my size. And the size they had, it was like online only or whatever. And I just decided to leave. But before I did, I was looking for the dressing room. And I walked down, kind of wasn't the right way. It was on the opposite end of where I was going. It's a fairly large store. And I thought it was a dressing room, but it was just the bathrooms within the store, which is within this larger mall. But it was within the store part, there was a bathroom, but following the signs, it leads one down a long corridor, and the corridor was completely like really, really white. The walls, like 4 walls and the floor was white, were white, and the lights, the fluorescent lights were really, really bright, like way brighter than this light here, which I usually keep my room dim. It's kind of bright, actually. I never use this lamp because it's too bright. But anyway, it was like, when I said white walls, and I recalled a story I wrote several years ago called The White Room, I think it was called. It was kind of like THXX, whatever the heck that George Lucas science fiction film that Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor sampled at the beginning of the Downward Spiral with the guy getting hit with the the thing, this dystopia. It was kind of like that. It was like really, really white walls, and it hurt my eyes. I was literally like almost dizzy from it. And I started walking down and realizing it's just the bathroom and there's nothing else. And it was really weird. And it just reminded me of the story. So now maybe hunt down that story of mine from years ago called The White Room and do a reading of that or something. Music stuff, at the end I'll just say, this is really an off-the-cuff short talk. I'm just holding the phone like this. You can see a photo of my daughter back here and my Telecaster. Anyway, and my white walls, because there's literally white walls. There's nothing on my walls now, because I scrubbed the walls down and aired the room out for 2 days in a row, because I was having really bad allergies. And then I was spending time outside the apartment, and I was at coffee shops with people sneezing and coughing, and then I got a cold. But it was a mild one. I only had it for 2 days, it seems, and it's basically gone. I mean, I basically feel fine. I didn't have a fever or anything. I just had a sore throat for like a day and a half, and a stuffy nose, and then some asthma and cough symptoms, which are almost like basically gone. So it's lucky, but so white walls and tissue paper. That's why I said that at the end yesterday, end of my talk. I had a kind of stuffed up nose yesterday too. Anyway, music stuff. Another ironic thing about the cloud deleting everything, because I had spent several hours listening to and writing out all these lyrics to 2 albums that I had completed. One is The Tower, and one was called In the Age of Kali by This Dark Shroud, which was the alternate version of 11. And what I've ended up doing and deciding to do, because I don't want to publish album after album after album of this stuff, I decided to do just a double album calling it The Tower, and modifying the jacket for what I had done as Worlds and Illusion, which was the updated version of The Tower. And then The Tower is This Dark Shroud. It gets confusing. I changed the titles and covers. So it's going to be 20 tracks, and it's basically kind of a combination of tracks from Worlds and Illusion, where the old version of The Tower, the new version of The Tower, or the new version of 11, okay? It's just recent tracks and some new mixes. The new mix of Boxman's on there, the new mixes of Blackmail, the new mix of Dials in the Bathroom, and a bunch of other material, including a new mix that I've never released to date. I still have not, of Hello Space Boy. It's a different mix from the video I put up. Anyway, so I finally decided, okay, so I'm going to submit this thing officially for release, Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. 20 tracks, The Tower, new cover, art, and but the distributor now for Apple Music, they're requiring lyrics for everything. And I thought, what a pain, but I decided, okay, I'm going to do. So I had written the lyrics out anyway to the 2 albums, so I have most of them, other than a few new things I added that I would have to, transcribe, listen to, and do. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna submit it, and I've got the lyrics. Copy paste, right? So cloud, right, goes belly up kind of thing, like, because I deleted stuff, and I ended up deleting like everything without meaning to, because it didn't happen right away, and then overnight it just killed all my files. So I tried to open up the lyrics that I had meticulously written out, and they're gone now. So now I got to do that all over again. So that's going to take a bit of time. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow's what? Saturday? No, today's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. So maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, it's not 12 a.m. yet, so it's still Saturday. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And then maybe submit. So the music thing, yeah, The Tower is going to be 20 tracks. And it's going to have the stuff that was going to be published as This Dark Shroud, and also the Worlds and Illusion, and also, the new mixes and stuff. And it'll have lyrics and all that stuff. I don't know when it'll be released yet. It'll probably be a month from now, something like that. I may put it up on YouTube, but, a lot of the stuff I published already in different forms, but not all of it. It's in a different running order. And live stuff from the live show from Utero, and also the live show from Nepo from last month. I think it was, August, the first time I played in 6 months. I've got audio versions of those with different, like fades and stuff. And I reordered them, and it's a selection, and it's like 2 hours worth or something. Maybe it's an hour and a half, I forget. It's over. I think it's an hour and a half. And it's good. I like it. And, so I may do that. as like a live album, summer 2024, combining them. So, and also the second stage, which was the four Winds from Four Directions, which was like a long improv with backing ambient tracks. I'd like to release that as a separate 50-minute piece. I mean, who's going to listen to this stuff? I don't know. Maybe nobody, and that's fine. I mean, for posterity, again, impermanence, man, because like my files are gone, right? I mean, nothing lasts forever. So I mean, put it up and forget about it, and then maybe one day, 20 years after I'm dead, someone will listen to it and go, oh, this is cool, who's this guy? And then you just never know. And I think it's quality material, and I like it, and the sound quality is good, and I've got a cover art made for it. So, and I have a bunch of other things. I got the Sonny Marc album that hasn't been officially released. What the Angels Saw, with the cover with the clouds I did, and I've got a double album of instrumental improvisations I haven't released officially, but it's on YouTube, and I have another one called Beyond Silence, which I modified. It's actually shorter than it was, and it's still long. I think that's an hour and a half, but it was like over 2 hours before. It just has a better flow now. I cut out some of the extraneous, repetitious stuff, and acoustic albums. I have 2 actually that I haven't released, so it just goes on and on. But like, and what else? So the reading series, the music, my white walls and my tissue boxes, although my nose has stopped running, though it's a little clogged still, like this. A little bit of what in Japanese they call hanagoe, which is, you have a what do they call in English? Like where you have a nasal voice from your nose being stuffed up. So I have that, but I'm okay. And and if you're watching the news, I mean, it's like, welcome to 2024, total chaos, I say in my rendition of Bowie's Hello Space Boy, or This Chaos Is Killing Me, because chaos has been a theme in my music since the beginning of my solo stuff. And Chattering Man Days, I actually wrote the song Chaos, the lyrics. So that was even before I was my first band or going solo. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the news, it's chaos. I mean, it may be World War III starting, right? These are dark days. These are dangerous times. Who knows what tomorrow's going to bring is all I'm saying. So, I mean, it's felt that way for years anyway. I've been saying this in my music since at least 2022. But 2021 was all like COVID, right? And are we going to survive COVID, at least in my mind? And then it was after Ukraine especially hit in 2022 in February on the 24th, 2 days before my 49th birthday. From that point on, it was like, man, right? So 2024, chaos, fragmentation, one of Bowie's themes, right? Fragmentation. The artist's role is to, according to Krishnamurti, right? It's like J. Krishnamurti, JK, Jiddu Krishnamurti is to serve as a mirror to the larger public and to point out the fragmentation of the times. And because the artist tends to be attuned to it and sensitive to it, which could be a plus, could also be a minus. So, but anyway, that's my talk for today. I'm going to do a reading today again, but I will do a bunch of readings soon. So thanks very much. Going to sign off, and it's Marc Lowe in Tokyo, and take care of your health. Don't get a cold. There's lots of stuff flying around. See you next time. White walls and tissue paper. Till the next. Bye.